Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Glittering Bell Jar. We are happy to have you here on the Glittering Bell Jar, where we are taking the Harry Potter series and turning it on its head. This season, season 2, we are reading The Half-Blood Prince, and like always, we are reading it backwards. I have my incredible co-host with me, Valerie. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. As you can see, I'm wearing my Forbidden Forest Ranger shirt today. I'm very much feeling the Harry Potter vibes. I'm also wearing Slytherin socks, so I am here for this episode.
You are in it. I love
Yeah.
it.
How are you?
I'm good. It was actually kind of cool outside, so I got to get a run in and did some jump roping outside. It was nice. So
Oh,
thanks.
nice. Jump roping is like a thing that people do again for exercise. I feel like it had a moment in the 90s and it's like come back around.
Yeah. I really like jump rope. We've been doing it for a while though, off and on, and it always gets me into shape so quickly. You know how everyone has their thing that works for your own body.
Hmm.
That is one of them. That and
All
push-ups.
right.
So
Hmm. Good for you. Cool.
yes.
Well, it sounds like we don't have any random side tangents to spend 5 minutes of our 15 to 20-minute episode on this week or today. So let's just dive right in, right? We
Let's do it.
are halfway through Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. As a reminder, we're reading backwards, as Bree said. So if you are listening for the very first time, welcome. And you probably want to go back and start at episode 1 of this season. So they are shorty episodes, as I just said. They're about 15 to 20 minutes. Some of them are a little bit shorter, some run a little bit longer, depending on the day. And they go quick. And you have, 15 of them to go
Yep.
back and enjoy. And then you'll be caught up. So go give those a listen. And then we will, in the meantime, we will keep moving forward/backward. Bree is going to give us our synopsis of chapter 15, The Unbreakable Vow.
Thank you. During this chapter, Harry is playing the most delicate game of balancing his friendship with Hermione and Ron while they are not speaking to each other. Ron spends most of his time snogging Lavender in the common room, and Hermione has her head in her books in the library. Professor Slughorn has one of his famous parties, and both Hermione and Harry are invited. During the party, Draco is caught roaming the upstairs corridors by Filch. Snape takes him aside while Harry eavesdrops as he learns that Snape does not know exactly what Draco is planning, but that Snape took an unbreakable vow, promising to protect him, even if Draco does not want his help with the task he was given by the Dark Lord.
Very nice. And the final sentence, which is where we always start our backward reading of each chapter. Hardly daring to breathe, Harry remained crouched down as Snape emerged slowly from the classroom. His expression unfathomable, he returned to the party. Harry remained on the floor, hidden beneath the cloak, his mind racing.
Mm. That would be interesting to come upon, right? Imagine being Harry, you're, already kind of on edge because you're eavesdropping with a invisibility cloak over you, and then the things you've been suspecting are possibly true, and, Snape, your least favorite teacher or most hated teacher, at least knows some of it.
Mm-hmm. Know some of it, but not all of it.
Yeah.
And you now officially know that Malfoy is up to something. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know it. There's no denying. You've now heard he's doing something, but you don't know what it is. And Snape doesn't know what it is either.
Right, right. Which is almost scarier, but
Yeah, I think
yeah.
so. I think it would have given Harry more comfort in a weird way to know that Snape and Malfoy were plotting some mysterious thing than the idea that Malfoy's doing something and Snape is trying to help but not able to. Like, that seems like there's more wild cards in the deck when that's the case.
Well, and he can't blame Snape because he wants to. He wants
Hmm.
evidence, obviously, against Snape all the time. So if he could nail them
Hmm.
both, all the better.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I didn't have a ton from the party. We'll come back to the party, but I just want to say, because you had
Yeah.
it in your synopsis, that I feel like this is the chapter where Harry does the most homework ever. Because it's the chapter where Ron will be complaining about Hermione, and so Harry just keeps doing his homework. And then Hermione is complaining about Ron, and Harry keeps doing his homework. It's like the one time like Harry's the most studious one in the group. And he's like, I'm just not gonna get in the middle of this. I'm not. I'm gonna read Quintessence A Quest and write about everlasting elixirs, and it's like more productive schoolwork time for Harry.
That's so true. I mean, you can imagine literally trying. He's like, no, he's literally stuck in the middle, but also trying to maintain both those friendships, which is never fun and is always impossible.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think back on the times that there have been breakups in this trio, right? So there's Goblet of Fire. No, there's in Prisoner of Azkaban when
Mm-hmm.
Ron thinks that Crookshanks ate Scabbers, so then Ron and Hermione have had a fight there. And then there's Goblet of Fire, where Harry and Ron stop talking,
Yep.
and Hermione, in the books, Hermione's more neutral,
Yeah.
whereas in the film, she's not neutral at all. So we'll go with the book one, because I think that's part of why, like, Harry learns from Hermione that, like, a good friend tries to be at least neutral. Like, I'm not in it. I'm not passing messages between the two of you. I'm not talking about it, but I'll stay friends with both of you, and that's all. That's how it's got to be.
I like that. I like that you said that he learned from Hermione because, yeah, I mean, he never had a friend. So, um, yeah, he would have to learn from his friends how to be one, right? Like some things maybe came
Mhm.
naturally, but I like to think, yeah, that he got some good stuff from his current friends. So
Mhm.
I like that.
Well, and he didn't really stay neutral when Ron and Hermione had their fight in Prisoner of Azkaban. He was
Mm.
like Ron's friend, and Hagrid too was like, you need to be more fair. Like, you need to be fair, that, like, this is how cats behave. Sorry, we're on a totally separate story. And like, cats eat rats. That's not Hermione's fault. That's that's the nature of the beast, literally. And I think so. Harry learns from Hagrid, and then he also has Hermione demonstrating that neutrality, and now he manages to keep it.
Oh, Hagrid taught him to be a good friend too. Dang, you're gonna make me cry. That's so
Mhm.
sweet.
That's so obvious that Hagrid would have taught Harry to be a good friend, because he was really his first friend. We've talked about that. Well, we say
Oh,
Hedwig was his first friend. We've had this discussion last season, right?
yeah. True. So I'm going to skip back to the library where Harry was being studious. And you know me and my conspiracy theories. We love them. So Madam Pence, she gets very mad about Harry desecrating the books, which I think is pretty funny considering we had our own little uh argument about desecrating I don't normally, but it felt, I don't know, it felt okay because I've got like 15 copies of each book. But Madam Pence would agree with you that you should not desecrate your books. But then they had the theory, they were like, was she really mad about that? Or was she mad that we were talking about Filch? Because the moment they said something, she appeared. And I was like, I love that everyone gets love, that Filch and Madam Pence, maybe they were, a thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like in the end of this book, there's the scene where Filch is in his horrible suit and Madame Pince is in a long black veil standing next to one another at Dumbledore's funeral or something like that. Like, there's another indication that they have a special friendship, if not something more. It's in the books, but I can't think of when it would be other than this book at Dumbledore's funeral.
Huh.
Let me, let me just try and reference that real fast.
Okay. Yeah.
This is in the White Tomb, so episode 1. If you haven't listened to episode 1, this is why, because we reference these episodes. So the students filed out from their benches in near silence. Harry glimpsed ... Madame Pince standing beside Filch, she in a thick black veil that fell to her knees, he in an ancient black suit and tie reeking of mothballs.
Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. Filch found love
Yep.
after all.
Or they at least have special friendship, the two of them. They're kind of outcasts in different roles than some of the other teachers too. So makes sense that they would become friends. They're not really teachers. They're not professors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I like that.
Yeah. That only stuck in my head because a long black veil that hangs to your knees is such a distinctively different kind of veil. Like, it's not, to me, it's not like a veil, like, doesn't hang that far normally.
Right. That's true. They are kind of oddballs. Yeah, once you read that, I remembered it too, but I didn't even think about them being together. I just thought they were just standing beside each other. So good
Yeah.
catch.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's sort of alluded to in this chapter, which I think is why it sticks out in my mind as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I did want to point out that one of the things I made a note on in this chapter early on, I think it's after they've left the library, is how Hermione, okay, she's mad at Ron, and because we know where the story went, because we've read it in the correct order before, she's mad at Ron because he's like snogging with Lavender all over town, basically. And it's interesting to me, we talked about this in the chapter Sectum Sempra, which I cannot for the life of me find as I'm flipping through my book, how Malfoy, when he's upset, he goes to the bathroom because he has nowhere private to go to deal with his emotions. And I was thinking about Hermione too. She shares a dormitory with Lavender Brown. Her only private place is Lavender's in it. Like that's so I feel bad for the students that they don't have a private, like I don't know what kind of room I want them to have, but like the bathrooms are it. And that's why several times here like Hermione runs to the bathroom because she's so upset and she can't even go to her own bed. Like she can't go cry in bed because for all she knows Lavender's going to walk in and then she's got to deal with this and she doesn't want to deal with it.
So wait, are we sure about that? Because it's not like because Harry only has what 5 people in his room. So it's not like how do we know for sure? Is Lavender Brown for sure the same year as them? And
100%. Yeah, she was sorted the same year as them.
And so there's only it's whoever is in the same year. It's not just amount of people.
Correct. And there's only 4 women whose names are sorted into Gryffindor in Harry's year. So actually they may not even have a full 5. There's always been discussion of that. There's like not a clear match. Like, is it 5 students in every house, sure, male and female every year? Because of course some students aren't, it's not going to break down evenly, right? But in this case, we know that Hermione, Lavender, and Pavarti are all sharing a dormitory.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. That was the reaction I was aiming for. Yeah, that sucks. So Hermione's upset. I mean, she's upset with Ron, but she also has to be at least a little upset with Lavender. Like, even though it's like not personal, it's not really personal with Lavender. But then she has to share a dorm with Lavender. So I'm sure she goes in and she's got to like listen to Lavender talking about Wan with Pavarti, and like she has nowhere to go. She's why she spends all her time in the library with this chapter.
Oh, brutal. Yeah, that's a good catch. That would be horrible. Very horrible.
What else did you catch in this chapter?
Sure. Obviously, I caught some perspective from Luna. So Luna and Harry are walking and... Okay, yes. So I caught some perspective from Luna, obviously. So they're in class and Ron and Hermione kind of start going after each other. And Ron says something incredibly mean to Hermione. And Luna is walking out with Harry and... She almost does a compliment sandwich, which is, trademark pending Valerie's thing. But she says, that guy, he's a funny guy, isn't he? He says funny things sometimes, but he can also be pretty mean. And I just found that interesting. Like, we were talking about how James and Sirius were known for being bullies. And Ron does say mean things, like, throughout these books, which I think is why... I'm glad we're reading it backwards because I am starting to like Ron more than I ever did. But now I remember why I didn't, because he can just be so mean. And, leave it up to Luna to kind of have that perspective and just say it. Where people would be like, oh, it's Harry Potter's best friend. I don't want to, say anything bad about the Chosen One's best friend. But Luna straight up's like, yeah, he's kind of mean, huh?
Yeah, I thought about when I read that section there, the line reads, Luna was demonstrating her usual knack of speaking uncomfortable truths. And I was like, I feel like I want that to be my epitaph, like had a knack for speaking uncomfortable truths, or, like that's actually, to me, that's like a compliment, like being someone who is confident enough and bold enough to say the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is a really powerful skill. And Luna just does it. And you're right. Like even in this scene, basically after that, Harry's like, Luna, you want to go to Slughorn's party with me? And she says, yes, I'd love to go as friends. Like he says, as friends, he like caveats as friends. And she's like, I'd love to go. I've never been invited to go to a party with someone as a friend, which is heartbreaking. Okay. And then immediately when Harry tells Ron, he goes, you could have taken anyone and you chose Loony Lovegood. And it's like, Ron, Luna. And then Ginny corrects him. Like, don't call her that, he demonstrates that funny / unkindness right there, right away. And it's like Harry, obviously, I think, acknowledges that is true about Ron. And it probably does make him quite uncomfortable because it's not in his nature to be that way.
Yeah, I did love that Ginny corrected him. Just giving her another, thing that I like to add to her attributes. Like, okay, she's also extremely kind. Obviously didn't get that from Ron. I think she just kind of got it from herself. That's just like her thing, Not to say her parents, maybe her dad. Her dad is pretty kind, but he's also pretty goofy. So I like to say she has her own thing, which is kindness. But yes, yeah, that would be hard. I don't know. Yeah, it is. I think as you're growing up, you do start to realize certain things about your friends. And yeah, that's what's happening here.
And I think Ron also kind of learns it about himself. Like as we get older, we also gain that self-awareness, because I feel like by the end of Deathly Hallows, after Ron abandons them and really has to come to terms with the ramifications of his behavior with Harry and Hermione, he does come back a changed man, a kinder man, and he is more a defender of good instead of sort of being a little jerk of a teenager. And lots of teenagers are jerks. It's part of growing up, but you got to learn that. Some people have to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, very true. What else did you find in this chapter?
So I have a couple more notes, and one of them is that I now have a life dream to be the image of Professor Slughorn at this Christmas party, which is described as, I got to read it.
Okay.
His velvet hat a little askew, a glass of meat in one hand and an enormous mince pie in the other. Is that not the ideal way to celebrate the holidays? To me, it is.
Yeah.
The best way. Your hat's a little off because you had a little bit of meat. You got a glass of it in one hand and a giant mince pie. And we love mince pies in our house. It's like one of my favorite British holiday foods. So I now have to figure out how to make enormous mince pies because we make them really small when we normally.
Well, and he's the host. I love being a host because it means you get a bunch of short, very fun, very quick conversations with people, but you get to keep moving and you get all the attention and you get to be drunk. Like all the I agree with you. He is living the dream in this chapter.
Yep. I've got to get a velvet smoking jacket. I got to get a velvet hat with a tassel. I don't know what it's like a flagon. I need like a flagon of mead and a mince pie. And we're going to post it on Instagram in approximately 6 months. And you're going to see me there chilling in my house, channeling Horace Slughorn for the holidays.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm feeling a theme party coming on and maybe Hogwarts at Christmas or something.
Yeah, we might have to do it over Zoom with all of the listeners who want to join because,
that would be so fun.
Yeah, it'll be a ways from now, but we got to have everyone involved who wants to be at the party. This is not a Slug Club only thing. This is open to all students.
Oh.
Okay, and then I had one more note. I was originally going to comment on how when Malfoy and Snape are speaking that Malfoy's denying everything. But then I realized less important that he's denying everything than that he's defending his mind against Snape trying to read it.
Yeah.
And that, not like we were speaking about in one of the recent episodes, Snape is kind of a blunt object at legilimency. Malfoy knows he's trying to do it. He can feel him trying to attack his mind, and he's learned occlumency to defend himself. And I thought that was a really interesting thing that sort of plays into this theory I have that maybe Dumbledore is more proficient at legilimency than Snape is, which is why it feels like being X-rayed with Dumbledore, and it feels like someone's attacking your mind with Snape. That's not to Snape. Like, Snape's obviously good at legilimency because not everyone can even do this magic, but he's actually maybe not as subtle as some of the other wizards. Like Voldemort, obviously, like nobody can even stop Voldemort really, except Snape. But
right,
Voldemort's really good at it. Dumbledore's really good at it. Snape's maybe not quite as good as those two.
Well, right, and maybe Snape is just very good at defense and not so much as at offense.
Yeah, that's my hypothesis, is that he's really good at occlumency and he's pretty good at legilimency. And there are other wizards who are better at legilimency.
Yeah, I found it interesting that Bellatrix, Auntie Bellatrix, was teaching Malfoy occlumency. So yeah, I caught that as well. And yeah.
Do you have anything else in this chapter?
That was actually my last note. Not quite as good as yours. I just found it interesting that he had learned it against Snape, and I had forgotten that little bit, which is to say that maybe Malfoy is also a very talented wizard, and I don't feel like that gets talked about because we just, he's evil, right? Or whatever. He's like, we're more worried about his arc than so much about his like magical abilities.
Well, he's certainly better at occlumency than Harry. I think we can agree for sure on that.
Oh,
because Harry's terrible at occlumency. He can't really do it. And Malfoy is capable of defending his mind against Snape. So, got to give Malfoy credit for that.
Yeah, you're right. You're so right.
What I was going to say is interesting is that you just made the point I hadn't really connected, is that Bellatrix is teaching Draco occlumency specifically to protect his mind against Snape, not against Voldemort. So, what?
You think that's true? Because in the book...
100%.
Okay.
Because in the next line, so the lines are, Aunt Bellatrix has been teaching you occlumency. I see. What thoughts are you trying to conceal from your master, Draco? Draco responds, I'm not trying to conceal anything from him. I just don't want you butting in. So I'm guessing he went to Bellatrix and was like, I need you to teach me how to defend my mind. Maybe by this point, Draco has realized that Snape can do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's all this stuff from Draco's side of the story we never see, but he's the head of house. So you get in trouble with the head of house and he reads your mind, you never get out of it. Right? So I think Draco has asked Bellatrix to teach him how to defend his mind against Snape specifically, because he's not trying to keep secrets from Voldemort.
But also a good trick to have, considering he doesn't really like Voldemort.
Right. If he can do it as well as Snape, yeah, it's a great thing to know how to protect your mind.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's all I have. So we can wrap it up here.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please head over to your podcast player of choice and give us a rating, hopefully a 5-star one. Add a review in there. It helps us so much to grow the podcast. The more reviews you get, the more likely the algorithm will like us. So please do that if you would like. You can also head over to our social media, Bell Jar Pod. Valerie, someone who says she's never on our Instagram, has been killing it at the reels lately. So you should
I'm so frustrated. I'm locked out of one of my accounts right now because I've got reels. I haven't got like million view reels, but I have figured out my little corner of 5,000 view reels. I don't know what the magic is for 5,000 views, but everything I post right now gets 5,000 views, no matter what account I put it on. I put one on the account recently. So if you are listening in real time, before the season started, we were doing a little bit of teaser promo, and there's part of an episode that did really well. It's one of the quotes that's actually coming in a future chapter, so we're kind of a little bit out of order. Anyway, I would highly recommend scrolling down a little bit. Like, don't just look at what's up there recently. Like, dig in. We got some good stuff hidden for you.
Mm-hmm, yes. So Belljaw Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. So we are on there and we are doing stuff. Come say hi, give us a follow, give us a share. We also have an email if you want to send us a long email.
Yep, it's an old-fashioned thing called electronic mail from Muggle Improvement. It's better than Owl Post. I think it has better reliability than Errol the Owl. Anyway, it's podcast@followthebutterflies.com, and followthebutterflies.com is my Harry Potter blog. So there's more Harry Potter there if you want it. And then last but certainly not least, when you're in there doing all this good stuff for us, reviews, social, etc., grab the share link from your podcast player and send this podcast, this episode, or just episode 1 to get someone started on the right foot, to someone you know has been to one of the Wizarding Worlds, either the one in Florida, the one in California, or the one in Japan.
Love that. Yes, very good. How many have you been to, Valerie?
I've been to 2. I haven't been to Japan yet. But when I go to Japan, part of my trip to Japan, if I'm flying all the way to Japan, I'm going to Osaka to go to the Wizarding World, hands down.
Yeah, no, I'm in. Yeah, I've been to the one in Florida, but it was a long time ago. So there's so much more cool stuff I need to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like 2010, I think. So a long time ago. Yeah, they only had like one ride then. So anyways.
Oh my goodness.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.
See ya.